What's up, everybody? We're back again with another political talk. Politics as usual. I'm your boy, StephenMotivate. Hopefully you've been enjoying these. We try to be unbiased, but unfortunately we haven't done a great job of that. We're going through the Republican platform right now, and I'm not a Republican, so it can be very difficult for me to try to give viewpoints as to why people would vote Republican and why they would like some of these policies. But every episode, we try to do our best to stay unbiased, so we'll give it a college try right now as well. But what I want you to do is comment, like, subscribe. We think this is really important. Politics is what they tell you not to talk about, mostly because it's very divisive. People have polarizing views. You know, you can end up hating somebody if they disagree with your a policy stance. And, you know, while that may be true, and in some cases it may not be wise to talk about politics, we do think that if you're building a platform, if you're engaging a community, especially for Black people, and it's important that, you know, not going to tell you how to vote or how you should vote. That's your own personal decision, but you should at least know the policies behind the people. And that's kind of our goal here with this series, is to really give you policies. It's election year in the U.S., but wherever you're at in the world, know the policies, know what's going on, because I really think it speaks to the greater good. It affects the greater society. And I don't know, I think it's important. So let's hop back in. This is actually the Republican platform. We are now on Chapter 6, Protecting Our Seniors. Good. I like this. Let's see what the commitment is. President Trump has made absolutely clear that he will not cut one penny from Medicare or Social Security. American citizens work their whole lives contributing to Social Security and Medicare. These programs are promises to our seniors, ensuring they can live their golden years with dignity. Republicans will protect these vital programs and ensure economic stability. We will work with our great seniors in order to allow them to be active and healthy. We commit to safeguarding the future for our seniors and all American families. Wow, that's great. Seniors being protected is a topic that I think it is politically astute or conducive for both parties to talk about this, because, who doesn't love their grandparents? Who doesn't love the older people in their life? I'm sure there's some out there, but, by and large, we want to take care of the elderly, right? The most vulnerable in our society. I want to look up what are some of the typical critiques of, Republican policy as it relates to seniors. But while I'm doing that, I think on the face here, this statement's pretty solid. I mean, we want to protect our most vulnerable. So if you agree with this and you trust that they're going to do it, this might be a reason for you to vote Republican. Let's see here. Number one is protect Social Security. Social Security is a lifeline for millions of retirees, yet corrupt politicians have robbed Social Security to fund their pet projects. Republicans will restore economic stability to ensure long-term sustainability of Social Security. Typical critiques Republican policy on seniors. See what ChatGPT says. Let's see here. So what their focus here is that they're going to protect Social Security. Many times I know I've heard that Social Security is going to run out. It's, is it funded well? Is it not funded well, et cetera? So you've heard that a lot. It doesn't seem like they're talking about much of that here. They say they're going to restore economic stability. So I don't know if that's code for what I see here as some of the critiques of. It says here that traditionally, some of the issues with Social Security and Medicare, a lot of the reforms that Republicans have talked about in the past, critics think that they would weaken these programs because they would do things like raising the retirement age. Doesn't say they're going to do that here, but you might say Republicans will restore economic stability. Well, if to make it economically stable, we need to raise the retirement age, I don't have to tell you I'm raising the retirement age. I just have to tell you that I'm going to make it economically stable. So at least that's what critics say that they have done in the past. So, the argument is like raising the retirement age, privatizing Social Security, or introducing more competition into Medicare, which folks say this could reduce some benefits or increase out-of-pocket costs for seniors. And additionally, when Republicans emphasize reducing government spending, sometimes this leads people to believe that essential programs like Medicaid, which many low-income seniors rely on for long-term care, would be cut. There's also concern that tax cuts favored by Republicans could result in future budget shortfalls, potentially leading to cuts in senior benefits to address deficits. So, yeah, let's cut the taxes. Let's do that, and let's protect seniors. So I think the issue some Democrats have if they don't think the argument is coherent. A video I watched, and I believe it was the Starbucks CEO, and they introduced their company into China. They're very, 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 have a strong emphasis on family, a strong emphasis on, and part of it's because of the rules that were set in place. In China, it was like this 2-child rule where you couldn't have more than 2 children, as they were, making sure you're, controlling the population or whatever they had to do, they did that. And so because of that, families aren't that big, but that the smaller those families are, they're more important. So, as Starbucks was trying to get their business model right in China, they decided to provide lifetime health care. I believe it was what it was. We'll have to fact check this, but lifetime health care for their employees' parents and grandparents. So it was genius. And the amount of credibility that Starbucks got with their employees because of doing that was huge. So, now all those employees they have, they don't have to worry about, is my mom's medical bills going to be covered, or is my grandpa's medical bills? And so that sort of stress taken off of you is great. And so I think that's just a good example of corporations solving societal problems. And so, if somebody can do that, if we could figure out a way to do that in America, I'd be all for that. And so, I do want to highlight that because I brought it up in the last episode that, it's not always that the government has to fix it, but I don't know that we've in America at least found a way to be that creative or to be incentivized in that way. And so one could argue that, maybe that's what Republicans want to do. They want to give more money to the rich and corporations, and then they have a plan to let those corporations then give it back to folks. I think the question you have to ask yourself, though, is do we trust that? Have we seen that play out ever? Have we seen companies and folks with the big tax cuts do things for society, for their employees that are super impactful? So that's interesting. They say they want to protect Social Security. They say they want to strengthen Medicare. Republicans will protect Medicare's finances from being financially crushed by the Democrat plan to add tens of millions of new illegal immigrants to the rolls of Medicare. We vowed to strengthen Medicare. This will be a hard edit, but the strengthen Medicare, right, is an opportunity that they see. And they're saying that Democrats are allowing too many illegal immigrants to get on Medicare. Might be a valid. I don't know on that one. If in fact what they're saying is true, this might be a reason for you to vote Republican. If you think that Democrats are allowing too many illegal immigrants into our system and those immigrants are taking advantage of our system and thus making less for everyone else, then I think that's something to look at. However, I will say that there is a book that I was going to tell you guys about. Poverty by America by Matthew Desmond. And it's interesting because, we think that people are just, those people are just taking advantage of the system. Well, the facts show that many people don't take advantage of the system. So for my own reasons, I don't necessarily buy it, but they're saying that, all these illegal immigrants are taking advantage of everything. And that's one way they will get Medicare stronger, by making sure people that that shouldn't get it, don't get it. All right. Number 3, support active and healthy living. Republicans will support increased focus on chronic disease prevention and management, long-term care, benefit flexibility. We will expand access to primary care and support policies that help seniors remain in their homes and maintain financial security. Number 4, protect care at home for the elderly. Republicans will shift resources back to at-home senior care, overturn disincentives that lead to care worker shortages, and support unpaid family caregivers through tax credits and reduce red tape. Okay. Family caregivers would be good to have support. I know our family, my mother-in-law who passed away this year, my wife took care of my mother-in-law. She lived with us for just under a year, where she was taking care of her every day, day and night, and we expected her to live a lot longer, actually. And we didn't. There were programs, but there is a lot of red tape. It's not easy to try to get approved to be, for this and that. You got to do this, and because she lives in my house, and there's that zip code. I don't know if they're doing it by zip code or what, but you can't qualify for certain things, and it was a big mess. So, I think if there's a way to make the red tape less, which again, that's kind of a Republican theme. Let's make less red tape for folks. Then I think that would be a good thing. Let's make government smaller, less red tape. Let's make things easier. Well, which sounds very good, but again, as we've talked about in other episodes, we do have to be just cautious of what red tape is getting reduced there. But in this case, I do agree that if we can have family caregivers paid and make that easier, that would be a positive thing. The last thing they got here is protect economic foundations for supporting seniors. Republicans will tackle inflation, unleash American energy, restore economic growth, and secure our borders to preserve Social Security and Medicare funding for the next generation and beyond. We will ensure these programs remain solvent long into the future by reversing harmful Democrat policies and unleashing a new economic boom. So that's their promise. This one's pretty simple. Protecting seniors is something they say they want to do. They say they're going to do it better than the Democrats. They're going to make sure there's economic stability. Again, my only warning is just, what does that mean? Does economic stability mean that now you got to retire when you're 85, or, what does it mean? So not exactly sure the details here, but this bullet point, chapter 6 we were on today, seems like a no-brainer. If you're voting based on senior care, if that's something there's not a lot of details as we found in this document. They're kind of short on the details, but this seems like an easy one if so I'm interested in what the Democrats have to say about how they're going to protect our seniors. That's it, folks. That's today's episode. Look, we think politics are super important. It's not always the most. We don't recommend, I guess, you go into a dinner party and you just start blurting off about politics. You may cause more harm than good. But it is important, and it is something we all should talk about in the right context with the right understanding, and find a way to still be friends after, still be people. Look, the Republicans were in charge before. Yes, some crazy stuff happened, but most of us lived through it. And with the Democrats are in place now, as much as you might hate them, um, things are still happening. Life is still going on. I think we got to be grateful for what we do have, and if we come to the table with more of a discussion and trying to see different points of view and really try to solve the problems, I think that would help people get back involved with these policies, right? Instead of it being just a popularity contest or, who can say the craziest thing or who can get the most media attention. No, what are the real policies that we agree with? And so that's the point of these. Hopefully this helps you. And as always, no matter what you're doing, stay motivated. It's your boy, StephenMotivate. Until next time, peace.